You don't want to end up like the spokesman for Subway, do you?
Did you just use a term that excludes women from an occupation?
Okay, let's back up.
Ah! Did you just say spokesman instead of spokesperson when women are just as capable of selling sandwiches as anyone? Are you purposefully trying to use words that assert your male privilege?
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and it's that time of the week where I bring the saltiest guy I know, the curmudgeon of critical himself, on the channel. So we're gonna roast a comic book. Normally, Brian Michael Bendis might be involved, but this week there's one clear winner of the worst comic of the week that needs roasting above all others, and that is Iron Man #2 from Christopher Cantwell. Art by Cafu, which I personally like. Pele doesn't enjoy it as quite as much as I do, but it's all the writing that torpedoes this comic, and we're going to be getting into all those details. And I don't know, Pele, how you feeling? You extra salty today?
Fuck. Why did they do this? Look at this thing. God. I mean, have you checked your white privilege today, Wes? Have you had it checked? Like a hernia?
Absolutely. I went to the doctor, I got all my tests back, and I'm still privileged, I guess.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I hate it when they put the finger in there.
Never get it.
Checking for your white privilege. It's like, oh, jeez. Oh, man.
He stuck his finger where places that I didn't appreciate.
God, fucking hell. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that when that happens.
Yeah. Not only is Tony Stark a privilege violator, he's basically a pathetic loser that's completely insecure. And this character in here, it's not really Tony Stark. It's more like Eeyore is the actual character in the comic book. It ends up being pretty strange. But before we get into all these details, and we're going to get into these details in a very salty way, I do want to say, if you don't like bad language, if you don't like people roasting comic books, talking about how bad a comic is, and basically have a little fun, little sarcasm at the expense of a terrible, and I do mean a terrible comic book in Iron Man #2, this isn't the video for you. I do 2 videos a day. We rarely actually roast comic books and really go into these and talk trash on them. So if that's not your thing, there's going to be another video for you today or tomorrow that you'll enjoy. And this one's just not the video for you. Now, if you enjoy this stuff, obviously you've come to the right place, because Paley and I are bringing everything that you expect or you love and expect. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, give us a thumbs up. If you like this, give me a thumbs down if you don't. Either way, we want to know what you think about Tony Stark being a privilege violator and a pathetic loser in the comments section. I'm sure we're going to get some feedback on this one. So we got to get into the panels at question here, Pele. So basically, let's set it up. Tony Stark is basically is a bit suicidal right now. He wants to die a hero, or at least prove he's a hero by almost killing himself, so the world will recognize he's a hero, because everyone seems to have turned their back on him. And he flies with his fist out like this into this big sphere that's made out of vibranium and adamantium and I think iron. And he shouldn't have an arm anymore, so he's in the hospital as he was trying to save some scientists from his pharmaceutical division. And there's a quote. We'll get into this stupid villain here at the end.
Is Tony Stark lost all of his money? That's what I'm wondering. Has he lost all of his money?
No, he got a $65 billion
right.
What do they call it? A parachute when he exited Stark Corps, and he had reinvested $14 billion of it and ruined the stock market, because he's Tony Stark and he's ruining everything. So it starts out, and do you want me to give the nurse your insurance info? Been told I'm uninsurable, so I'll just pay out of pocket. Oh, lucky you. And then, Patsy, my chops are already busted. Serious question, Tony. Have you ever had to look past your own privilege?
What a fucking joke. It's like, how does this even come up?
The dude literally almost lost his arm saving people from a maniacal villain today. And he was just using his privilege.
He's a billionaire. It's the kind of fucking money that you'd pay for this type of, nickel dime shit in a hospital. It's like he can find it in the cushions of his couch. How does this even get to be? How does this even something? what the fuck? You know, it's like, oh, your insurance info. If you, oh, lucky you. It's fucking hell. You know what? This isn't. We're not talking about billions of dollars. We're talking about a $40,000, $50,000 medical bill. You know, he spends that much money.
I don't know.
on,
I think he broke his arm in like 80 places.
Oh, so what?
But
it's still, he pays more money on he pays more money for drinks on a weekend. You know, it's this bullshit. You know, how is this even a thing?
It is bullshit. Let's get. It gets even worse. And he's like, "Hey, I devoted my entire life to helping people. I'm Iron Man," and that is true. And he's not just an Iron Man for white people or Americans. He literally helps anybody that needs help using his technology and his brain. That's who he is. You mean you've given yourself more power than you already had? You enjoy more legal leeway than most people on Earth, and you answered absolutely no one. This, of course, coming from a white superhero in a mask.
Yeah.
Not a lot of hypocrisy there, is there, Pete? Apparently. Then he says, well, when you put it that way, it sounds like that's completely not Tony Stark. He would actually defend himself. Then she says, like you're another white guy with a God complex. Well, you're a white woman with a God complex. You're the one in a mask going out and trying to save people, doing the exact same thing fucking Tony Stark is doing.
There's no one more privileged than a Karen sitting there bitching at you about your privilege. You know, what the fuck, people? This is ridiculous.
Yes, Hell Karen, as she shall be known.
Hell Karen.
I was calling her a dollar store knockoff Batwoman, but she is the Hell Karen.
Oh,
and then we get to Tony's sad, pathetic existence now. But what if I died doing something heroic? Well, what if you died out of that?
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is so stupid. You're like, oh, maybe if I do something heroic, then people will think of me as... Oh, please. It doesn't matter. None of this fucking matters. You know, how does this even get to be... I'm sick of this shit. Why can't we just have comics that, you know, with heroes doing heroic things instead of whining and crying that they didn't die doing heroic things? You know, this is bullshit.
It gets even worse if you look at her next part. She goes, so that's why you've been trying to spectacularly kill yourself recently, to reduce all the moral complexities of your storied reputation to one commemorative memorial statue at a Central Park. So Tony is not just trying to kill himself because he's in a midlife crisis. He's a glory hound who wants statues erected in his honor.
Who the fuck
Hopefully
is this
big,
chick?
large phallic-shaped statues that look like Tony.
Yeah, big Washington Monument dicks, big monster dicks in Central Park, you know, say Tony Stark on them. Who the hell? Why is she even here? What's the point? Is he boning her? Is this like his girlfriend now, or no?
No. He left his girlfriend in one panel in the last comic. I believe that she is here as the Jiminy Cricket of the comic book. She's supposed to be the conscience of the comic and providing the reader like with ideas of how you're supposed to feel about Tony Stark in his current condition.
Bullshit. You know, it's just, I'm so tired of this shit. Why can't we just...
All she's doing is making me realize what a pathetic loser Christopher Cantwell, the writer, is, and what a terrible job he's doing impersonating fucking Tom King.
Yep.
Don't we get enough Tom King in fucking DC Comics now? They're importing Tom King knockoffs into fucking Marvel?
Yeah, bad Tom King knockoffs too. This is so fucking ridiculous. It's like they couldn't tell that this was people that read Batman didn't like this. So hey, let's bring it to Marvel, where people that won't like this, because it's the same fucking people. You know, this is not your customer base. This is not your customer base. The people that care about this SJW issues and bullshit like that are not the people that are buying your comics. And all you're doing is turning people off.
Tony Stark, they're likely the ones that are buying Iron Man. They probably don't want their hero to just be trash and shit on and not defend himself or do anything within the character of who Tony fucking Stark really is. Just like, well, when you put it that way, I am a privileged.
I'm such a pussy. Put it that way, I am a pussy. And I'm just going to sit here and take your browbeating because you're this strong feminist chick who's telling me that I have white privilege. Fuck that. This is stupid. This is
like,
so
what is
stupid.
like?
Don't
Seriously,
buy this.
thinking about about Hell Karen herself. What has she done in her entire existence as a superhero that equates to anything remotely close to what Tony Stark does on a fucking Tuesday?
Not a damn thing. Well, she started out as a villain, kind of like a anti-hero type of sort, that kind of thing. And, she's never given a fuck about anything like this before. And now they just suddenly, this is another thing too, where they just take characters and they disregard all of the personality traits that character had previously, just so they can shoehorn in their narrative for a couple panels. It doesn't make any sense. She's never. I've read quite a few comics with Hell Karen in them, formerly known as Hellcat, and she doesn't act like this. So they've completely distorted her character, like they've done with other characters in the past, just so they can shoehorn in a narrative. And it's pathetic. It's really
called
pathetic.
Tom Kinging the character.
Yep.
Where you just throw everything out the window and you just do whatever the fuck you want, so you can make your character, your hero, your supposed hero, as depressed and as big a loser as completely possible.
Yeah, and here's what I'm also talking to about the fucking flat artwork and stuff like that. It's just, it looks 2D. It really does. I know that you didn't really dislike the artwork in this, but to me it kind of looks 2D here. And I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it. So, no.
It's them in a hospital talking, as long as the action looks good.
Okay, let's go on.
Well, let's go on. Let's do it. So here's some depressed Tony Stark, Eeyore, as he's flying into action. And tell me, does this sound like Tony Stark? Is it dumb to ask, especially after dying? What even is Iron Man? Is he Tony Stark? Am I flesh, or am I metal, or flesh and blood? Muscle instinct, or thoughts? Memories? Am I a conscience that was stored in virtual reality, or a bunch of new cells grown in a genetic pod? Or am I just some sore knee and neck from a fight with the Absorbing Man? What was I right after my brother threw me off the building and killed me? What was I then? I mean, is Iron Man just a wish in some kid's game of pretend? And if so, where does this wish come from? What about the game? What about the kid, Pele?
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is so sad and pathetic. It's like, how can he have a midlife crisis? He has a new body, You'd think he'd be on top of the world. I'm back.
He's like
I'm alive. I'm back. I'm alive. I've got a new body. I've got new kidneys. I've got a new liver. Hey, everything's great. I'm not dying anymore. Oh, no. Look, I have white privilege. I have billions of dollars. I'm a hero who has this super-powered suit, and I can go out and do things that nobody else can. But I'm going to sit here and bitch and be depressed about it. Fuck
What's
this
the
guy.
name of the robot from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Ah, Jesus. I can't remember.
I can't remember. The paranoid robot from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's Tony Stark. I just, jeez. It's so pathetic. It's so weird. So out of character. And it's just, I don't know.
They cut off his balls. It's like he didn't lose his arm. He lost his balls. It's just, it's pitiful.
Well, he lost his balls before he lost his arm. So to further emasculate, you could take these things, like if one of these things happened in a comic, be like, hey, that was just a moment. But in totality, all throwing this into one comic and the narrative that Christopher Cantwell, the next Tom King, shit depressed writer in comic books, is thrown in here. It's like, it's got time to further emasculate Tony Stark. He fought Creel, the Absorbing Man, on national TV, even though he knew who it was, and because he's got a death wish and he wanted people to see him go out like in style or something. So you gotta further take the character down a few notches and maybe let him fail at yoga.
Oh, Jesus.
It's not even DDP yoga, fucking Pele. It's just plain old girl yoga.
Yeah, I'm going to sit here in a lotus position and whine about my privilege some more. It's just, look at this. And this is what I'm talking about the lazy artwork.
Dog just taking it.
Look at this. Over here, we've got the standard 9-panel layout over here on the right. 7 of the 9 panels are completely the same, Wes.
Yeah, him looking like a pathetic loser, thinking
He's
about
just
what happened in my life.
lazy. It's sad. It's
Listen, man.
ridiculous. He's still being browbeat by Karen. You know, it's like,
And at
what
the
the
end, she
fuck?
lets him know that he got his ass kicked.
yeah, what a friend.
But he is an
You know, what a-
insecure loser. If you know, if you had a billionaire insecure loser in front of you, wouldn't you play on those insecurities?
Yep. Yeah, I guess so.
You
try
would.
to,
You would if you were a hell Karen, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Let's just sort of grind him down while he's feeling bad. You know, this is what friends are for. These are your allies. You know, we're just going to tear you
She's the
apart.
point of view of the audience. You're supposed to see what a spectacular failure and loser Tony Stark is, and that is what
Yep.
this comic book is all about.
Iron
It's-
loser.
it's what it
number
is.
2. Yep. Iron loser number 2. You know, it's just this is sad. You know, this is. How do you launch a title
He
like
might
this?
as well just tuck his junk in while he's at it in this fucking double page here.
You know, this is supposed to be launching a brand new title where people are supposed to get excited about
Back
Iron
to
Man.
basics, Tony.
Yeah, and all they're doing
Is this the core of the character, Pele? Is this the core of Tony Stark to you?
Yeah, yes, it is. That's what they're saying that it is. This is the core of Iron Man now, a sad, pathetic wretch who's a shadow of what he used to be, and everybody should buy it so they could see that he's going to become effeminate. You know, what the fuck? This is pathetic.
Well, he's
This is
always
the
kind of been
stupidest shit.
metrosexual. He's, for a while now, but this is like taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
It's
can't-
just terrible. And there's
I can't
also,
deal
let's
with
talk
it.
about the.
I really can't
what-
fucking deal with this. Go ahead.
Let's talk about the weird villain. This is another thing that Tom King likes to do. Let's take the most obscure villains in the history of the world, throw them into the comic book, and have everybody going, "Who the fuck is that?" So I guess this is Cardiac.
Yep.
If you
From
remember
Amazing
Cardiac,
Spider-Man.
and this is what he has to say. I'm surprised this is the villain. Tony Stark really is the villain in this comic book. This guy's probably the hero in Christopher Cantwell's mind. You
Yep.
profit off the poor and sick. You invest in doctors. Oh my God, you invest in doctors. Medicine makers. You invest in people making medicine and insuring people. You let people bleed to death. Oh, that's what doctors do and
What?
people that make medicine. You let them metastasize, suffocate. Yeah, that's what
While you
doctors
count
do all the
your
time.
coins.
All while you count your coins. Your
Jesus
scientists wait to develop high-cost cures. Oh, yeah. Developing cures does cost a lot of money.
Yeah,
Are they going to pay for it themselves? Then let them feel the effects of the untreated disease at the moment of death. Let them pay the ultimate price.
Ugh, Jesus Christ. It's, white privilege, we've got universal health care. We've got, how many fucking leftist tropes we got going on in one comic book? It's like, it's
At
not
least
Marvel
this
comics,
dude
it's Marxist
is technically
comics.
the villain, and Tony defeats him in about a half a page. Although he does destroy his arm and almost get it amputated doing it.
This is, well, I mean, it's a Spider-Man villain in an Iron Man comic. He's a little bit over that. He's a little bit over Spider-Man's level as far as, villains concerned. This is not somebody that should be in an Iron Man comic. So of course he's going to fuck him up and, leave him laying on the floor unconscious. It's just the way it goes. It's mismatch. Of course, it's the entire idea of the comic, though, isn't, Stark, Iron Man fighting villains. It's fighting his own white privilege and fighting his own shame over.
I think it's
his
him coming to
survivor
terms
complex or whatever the
with
fuck.
it and how evil he really is to the core.
Very evil because he's rich. He's
Yes.
evil because he's rich. Fucking hell.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Tony Stark, privilege violator. Is this the Iron Man for you? Certainly not the Iron Man for me. I read the first issue. I was like, that's an interesting take. He's going through a midlife crisis. Hopefully they'll elevate the character. But I can already see. I've read too many Tom King comics to know where this is going. And to be quite frank with you, Christopher Cantwell sucks at being Tom King. He's actually worse at it than he is. So there's about a fucking 0% chance I'd stick around for this shitty comic book. Obviously, if there's another Iron Man issue in the future that's as bad as this one, I'm certain people are going to tell me, and I might go check it out just for a segment like this. But this is fucking garbage, Pele.
This is a mini-series. This is why Iron Man doesn't... This is why there's no continuing Iron Man series that lasts for more than a few
No way it
issues.
makes 15 issues. This blows.
No. This will be canceled at 10, 12, whatever. It'll eke along, getting just barely the minimum of what it would take to keep publishing the fucking thing. And it's garbage. This is trash, and nobody should buy this. We need to expect more. I mean,
Iron my favorite part of all this, Pele, is all the people in the comments like, you just don't understand the comic. This is adding depth and complexity to the character. Hey, if by shitting on the character and his history is adding complexity and depth, I guess. But I say this is fucking torpedoing, rooting the character, and absolutely taking an enormous dump on Tony Stark. Anybody that has ever created a great Tony Stark comic, and certainly anyone that loves the character and has invested their time into the character of Tony Stark Iron Man and loves that character as a hero, this is a direct shot. This is a direct shot of shit right into your brow, because that's what this is. I'm just saying.
Yeah, this is the destruction of Iron Man. This is not the Iron Man that everybody has come to know and love. This is just a purse puppy bitch. And don't buy this. We need Iron Man back, and they keep giving us this emasculated, ballless wonder who can't even, defend himself to the likes of Hellkaren. This is pathetic, and this is unfortunately the way that too many of Marvel's comics are going. And I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that Marvel sells this. I'm ashamed that it's offered in my shop. I'm ashamed that nobody has learned anything from the years of shit that we've gotten from Marvel. It's ultimately going to lead to the destruction of the comic book industry as a whole if they don't turn this shit around, because nobody wants to buy this. Nobody wants to read this. It's embarrassing, and everybody just needs to fucking just walk away from it. If they can't provide good quality entertainment anymore, tell Marvel to fuck off.
Fuck them, that's what I say.
Yep. Fuck them.